Dennis, come on down.
You didn't let me catch my breath.
You got a mic on?
I believe so.
Are you
Hi,
on?
everybody. I'm on?
Okay. Denis Chernov, Keller Williams, Studio City?
Hi, guys. Seriously, yeah.
Okay. Why don't you, and speak loud, all right? Give the group a little intro.
Intro.
How did, where are you from? How did you get into real estate? You were in the mortgage business before?
Yeah.
Real estate, so kind of walk us as to how you got to where you are today.
I became a telemarketer at 16, 17 years old, a loan officer at 18 years old, had an opportunity to be a partner in a mortgage company at 20, got my butt beat up in 2008 by the mortgage industry, lost everything, and from 08 to now, I've been with Keller Williams.
And why did you decide to get into residential real estate?
The loan business was tough because it was all about, the value was the percentage, where that's the part that I hated the most, that everybody
You
was
became a
shopping.
commodity, everyone was shopping you for rate.
Everybody was shopping, there were too many of us, there was no value, there's no way I could reduce the percentage because that's what was the percentage. There was no way I could give it more value because the market was very difficult. And I got on the phone one day, I called the person off of one of our purchase leads, and he said, I'm looking for fixers. I said, great, I have no idea how to do this, but let me try it. So he bought a house in a week from us. I said, well, this is kind of fun. I'm out of the office, I'm driving in a nice car, looking at nice homes, but he bought a fixer in Studio City. Then a couple of weeks later, he bought another house, and I said, what am I doing in the office? Calling people. Let me go out and build some relationships, and that's it. That's how it started.
So it sounds like you've always been a hustler.
I've always been hustling, working hard, yes.
All right. And you had some success in the mortgage business.
Had a lot of good success, yes, in the mortgage.
And then you took a nasty...
Then I lost all the success and all the money and everything else.
And when that happened, what was going through your head?
Gives me shakers every time I think about it. No, I was scared. I was scared. I didn't know what to do. I was young. I was, 24, 25 years old. So I had a mortgage. I had a house. I had it was a lot. And the money was not coming in. I was holding the business in play by using my money that I had. I was investing into the business. I wasn't thinking forward. And I wasn't thinking where the business is going to go and what should I do if the business changes. I got hit without really realizing that I didn't really have a business. So it was a bad time. And
was there a low moment that you can remember?
No, I didn't have a way. I had a lot of liability. I had a lot of life, and never a low moment at all. I mean, it was a low moment that I'm like, shit, this sucks. But I continued to stay active. I continued to have the same attitude as I have now, that every morning I get in, every morning I work, every morning I think, and it went on. And it was great. It was the transition into real estate was very simple because technically I was in real estate and we had a real estate division. So, and I come from that background. Finance was a really big help. And I help a lot of clients because I know the back end of the transactions. So yeah, the transition was I would say very simple because I was in a market that I didn't know how to work in. So the only way that I could work is to hustle and make it happen. And at that time, from what I remember the first year I got into the business, I was already one of the top agents because the top agents didn't know what to do because the market was crashing. But I didn't know because to me it was a normal situation. I didn't really know how real estate worked.
So you've been in real estate how long now?
Full-time real estate since 08.
08. So
beginning of 09. So
10 years.
9, 10 years, yeah.
Okay. And your production this year will be what?
Last 12 months, as myself, I'm at about 180 million. As a team, we're about 245.
245 million.
As a team, yeah, 180 by myself.
And last year it was what?
140.
Right.
120.
So you've doubled in a year. I mean, you're crushing it
Thank you, sir.
this year.
Thank you.
And your structure, how many people are part of your group?
How many people are part of the group? We have a total of 7 people. 7-group team. We have 5 people on staff and 2 other salespeople that are working just like I'm working.
All right. And you work like an animal?
I try to work like an animal, yes.
You do?
Yeah.
And what is, so describe a typical work day for you.
Typical work day. I get up very early. I'm up at 4:30. I try to work out every single day, do something active.
Do you go to the gym or
I go to the gym. I do boxing 2 days a week, and I do Pilates 2 other days a week, and I try to go to the gym 1 time a week. So 5 days a week, I go to the gym early in the morning. I get back home. I hopefully get an hour of my own time between your calls at 6:30 and some kind of structure of what I want to do. I'm in the office sharp at 7:45, 8 every morning, and everybody gets into my office by 8:39, and my day goes
So
on.
when you get in the office at 7:45, 8, how many people are in your office?
Nobody.
0, right?
One, 2, but I think they just get there in the morning and leave.
Okay. So you get in the office, walk us through a day. Are you prepping, or you got stuff to do
I prep.
automatically?
So my first thing that I do is I sign up, I go through my whole day, I look at my schedule, I figure out who needs to take care of what. I look at my top producer, I look at my little CRMs that I use of who I need to call. I have a resale division, I have a new construction division, I have 2 different businesses within one. I meet with her at 8:30, then we go over our regular transactions. We make a plan for the whole day, then I meet with my second person, who is Helen, at 9:15, and that's our new construction division and redevelopment, and we pretty much set up the whole day from that point.
And would you say you built your business on prospecting?
That's all I have, yeah.
Right. Door knocking or?
Door knocking, calling, letters, everything, all above.
And you have 2 businesses. You have the developers you work with.
Yes.
How many developers do you think you work with?
Committed developers, 4 or 5.
4 or 5,
That are
and that
committed.
represents 50% of,
I looked at the math, 50% of my business, yeah.
okay. And then you have a normal business like everyone else.
A regular resale business that everybody else has, yes.
Okay. And did the developer business drive things in the beginning, or were you doing both, or?
Yeah, because that's a hustling business. That's the business where you bring value to your developer to make money, and they're open with their arms. Bring me business, bring us a listing, bring us a good deal, bring us a fixer, so anybody could technically do it. You could pick up a phone and call the developer and say, I have a property for you, and if it makes sense for them, they'll buy it, and hopefully they have enough respect for you that they'll relist it when it's done. So in reality, that business took off because it was a 2 transaction every time. When they buy
You got to
a fixer,
buy and a sell.
huh?
Got to buy and a sell.
Buy and sell, always. And from that point, you get buyers because you get the coming soon signs. People drive by, you get a call. At that point, you get a buyer for obviously high value property.
Okay. So what drives you every day? Why do you get up, and why do you get after it so hard?
I really think about this every day, and I truly could say that I don't want to work past a certain age. Work meaning I have a fear. For some reason, I have a fear every morning, and I guess so fear drives me. Fear of not being broke, fear of but something inside me just wants more, and the drive is behind it. I didn't go to a big school. I was never good at school. I don't have a great education to get a good job somewhere, so this is what I've been doing my whole life. So it's either this or I don't know what.
And so in your mind, there's no plan B.
No plan B.
You've got to make it.
I got to make it.
You've got to be successful.
Have to grow.
And why do you have to grow?
Because I have to have a business, and I have to be a business owner, not an artist. So.
Okay. And do you really want to retire?
I want to do other things.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to be in development. I want to be in investing. That's the part that I want to enjoy. And I also want to help people retire from my sales. I will never most likely get out of the business, but I want to run a profitable team. I want to coach. I want to help people. I want people to join our team because they'll get great value from our team. So more of that than actually hustling every single day for a listing or anything else.
So when I bring up mindset,
Yeah.
what comes up for you? How would you define mindset?
Just technically work harder than most people and have a certain motivation about me. You know, I get up, I have my little notes that I read every day. I needed something extra, so I called Steve. I said, Steve, I need something more. I have Steve that helps out a lot. The 8 a.m. call. So I'm always sucking in energy that I run out of because I want this machine to keep running.
So your mindset, work harder than anyone else and get as smart as you can about what you're doing.
Yes, sir. And divide the business because most of us don't have a business, we have us. And that's how I sell also when I go to a listing presentation or buyer presentation. I sell that we have a business. We're not realtors. We're not somebody who's going to show you home and make things great. We're going to sell your home and we're going to show you how that's going to happen. So it's a different mindset for me.
And from Tony Robbins, you got this idea, the distinction between being an artist and a business owner.
Yeah.
Talk more about that.
Talk more about that. A business owner creates, educates, brings value to people around them. An artist does those things, meaning does the work and paints and everything else. And I'm an artist right now in my business where I'm still in charge and everything still runs through me and my business. Where a business owner should have great systems in place where that's obviously something that you preach every single day, where the business runs on its own and you're there really to support it and grow it with great ideas and great plans for the future.
What are the mental challenges you face in your business every day?
I think fear, just like everybody else does. Fear of rejection, fear of not getting something done right, fear of negative outcome. Just the simple things that I hit myself back of my neck.
So you have a big fear about losing business for whatever reason.
For whatever reason. I don't know why. And I tell myself that it's not possible. And I'll give you a good example. I got in front of a big house last week and I got chills in my body. I'm like, gosh, I need to go. I want to go hit this door. And I sat there for about 2 minutes and I slapped the shit out of myself. And I said, be a man and go do it. And it was great. That's something also I picked up from Tony Robbins, is fear, and from you, that fear it's just a feeling, it's nothing. And the outcome after you face it is usually completely different.
So are you trying to push yourself to confront your fears?
Listen, this is it. I don't like this. I'm not comfortable in front of people at all, and I'm here. And that's also what we did on our team, is we are all facing our fears. I got up and I did a whole little seminar in my office about prospecting and farming and everything else. And to me, that was, I did not want to do it at all. For 2 weeks, I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. And I said, in the end, I said, okay, this is going to happen. This is my fear, getting in front of people and speaking and educating and giving what I know. And I did it. It was 2 seconds in. It was amazing. Right.
And when I emailed you to do this, I could say, that would not be my first choice, but I'll do it.
I remember last time I was here. It was interesting, but it was again, it's a lot of people that you're in front of. A lot of peers that do the same thing, and a lot of peers that judge in both directions, whether good or bad. So.
Okay. Questions for Denis? Hold on. All right, we'll start right here. Carlos?
Yeah.
All right, stand up.
Hey, Dennis, how are you?
How are you?
Good, thank you. Okay, so I was in the business years ago, and I just got back in June. And my focus has been working with, I guess, developers, and, investors and, flippers. I don't even like to say that word flip because I think that's just paint and carpet type of thing. But do you ever come across a situation where your sellers just want to go to market before the property's done, and what do you do? Like, I've been blessed to have, had been working to try to get a couple people to work with me, and now they're calling me, and I got some stuff in your area, actually. Yeah. He wants to go to market already, and he's like at 80%, 70% done. And I'm thinking, we can't, he wants to sell it so we can buy other things, all that kind of thing. What do you do in that situation?
Tell
Do
him
you pre-sale?
you're stupid. Just tell him you're stupid, just straight up.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. Most people are blind. I mean, that's why we stage homes, that's why we photograph well, that's why we do videos, not because we need to do them, but because, not because we want to do them, but we need to do them because most of us are blind to what the home would look like when it's finished. So you could offer that you will start advertising the home as a pocket listing or as an upcoming listing that will be done. So you could show them that you're sending out emails, you could show them that you're advertising on Facebook, on Instagram, and kind of give them updates, but don't put it on the market.
Okay, yeah, I'm doing the social media thing,
Yeah.
and I'm
Like,
pushing it.
how many of those properties will you do in a year?
We're going to probably hit about 40.
40. And how many come to market before they're done?
Never. We sell them before market,
Okay. Yeah.
but I've never put a property on the market before it was actually complete.
I'd love to talk to you later about the stuff I have
Anytime.
in your area.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Other questions? You are?
I'm
Stand
Ali-
up.
Hey, Emily.
Hi, I'm
How are you?
Alicia. I'm currently at Normand and Associates.
Nice to meet you.
So I'm still a relatively new agent. I live in Venice, and the area I want to focus on is Silicon Beach. And as you probably know, developers everywhere. I actually live in a multifamily unit, and it was just bought out by a developer. So my mind's thinking I want to start forming relationships with developers and kind of getting in early. And I guess it's sort of the chicken and the egg. You want to bring value to them. When you first started forming these relationships, I know that you were from the mortgage background. Like, did you come with them first with tear downs and then offer that, or did you kind of first?
How did you
Yeah, sorry.
create interest in the developers? How did you get them to talk to you?
Value. You bring them properties where they can make money. That's it. You don't need to be nice. You don't need to be cute. You don't need to be pretty. Just bring them something that will make them money. That's the biggest thing. No packages, no marketing package. They don't care about any of that. They care that you bring them a product that they could make money on, and at that point you will become very successful with them because they'll rely on you to bring them food to put on their plate. So.
And then my second question is, you're talking about CRM.
Did you hear that?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Bring them a deal that they can make money.
That's it.
That's how you.
Nothing else matters.
Okay.
Okay. Second question?
You mentioned your CRM program. So my last job, we used Salesforce. I'm just curious what you use.
I use Top Producer, and I only use the section where I could put an update in, and I build my own plans of what my team should be doing. So Top Producer has calls, emails, and mail. Three sections. And you could technically, we sell a home, we put a client on a 12 to 14 touch program where they get something either every month, and I give them a call every 3 months. They get a personal letter every 6 months. So pretty much we built our own little system that we follow. We don't follow Top Producer's 33 touch or anything else because we mail out every time we sell something or help somebody buy, we have a flyer that goes out, just represented a buyer or just represented a seller to our sphere. So Top Producer is simple, and I've loved it.
Great.
I've been using it for a long time.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Okay, your name?
Well, I'm the second Alicia. So my name is Alicia Brown.
Alicia.
I'm with Bulldog Realtors now. I was in the business at the time of the crash, and everybody says, hi, Denise. I had a question. I left the business because of the crash, and I started a family. And we get a lot of men that come up and say, you get up early, you grind, you grind, you grind. But when do we get, Steve, to talk to people who are saying, you know, how do you grind when you have kids or small kids, and what does that look like? Because sometimes I miss the call at 8 because she's getting out the car to go to school at 8, and so I want to talk more realistically for the mid-age adult that's coming back into the business about grinding.
So I have 2 kids. It's tough. I have a great supporter at home. My wife takes care of them first thing in the morning. We spend time together at breakfast, and obviously I take off at 7:30, 7:40 to go to the office. I get home at 6:37 every day. My voicemail says that I won't return your call until after 9. So if you call me after 7, I won't pick up. And that's been there for the last 2 years, even though I still pick up sometimes. Everybody structures their life differently. Obviously, I have a certain amount of listings and a certain amount of buyers or whatever I do that works for me, and I want to proceed and grow more. If I had half, I could work less. So everybody has a need, I guess, right? So you have to really figure out what is your need, and know that if you work 2-3 hours a day, or 4 hours or 5 hours, this is what you're going to be able to achieve, and create consistency. I mean, that's the biggest thing that I see in this business that most agents don't have. Nobody is consistent. It's the same thing every single day, it's the same amount of contacts, the same amount of doors. Create a consistency where it becomes natural. And I could say that my mornings and my morning up to 10, 11, 12 o'clock is always the same. I don't set up appointments in the mornings. I don't go to people's homes in the mornings. That's my time to really schedule, figure out what is going on, what is not going on, where I could grow, who I could help. And after 12 is jungle, where I go crazy, but that's who I am.
I coach a lot of moms who have kids, and there's really 2 categories. You have the moms who are the breadwinners in the family, and they get child care, or the husband's taking care of the kids, or you have the moms who work, but they're responsible for child care. And so it's all about scheduling. So you have to figure out how many hours do I actually have a day to work, and then you've got to maximize those hours. You can't, it's one or the other. You can't have it both ways. So if you have to take care of the kids, well, and you have 3 hours or 5 hours, whatever your work day is, you have to put even more of a premium on making sure you're doing things in a smart way. And like Dennis just said, it's about consistency. It's about consistency. And it comes down to scheduling and time blocking. And when you have less time to work, that just means you've got to be more focused and really prioritize what you're doing.
I just didn't want to feel like a non-grinder.
No, it is what it is. And there's, like I said, there's 2 kinds of moms. The moms that got to go to work, and the moms that got to take care of the kids and adjust the schedule. So it's, you got to figure out what it is and what you can do in the time that you have. Just because you're working less doesn't make you a slacker. Just because you're not, running 20 miles on the beach every morning at 6 a.m. and jumping in the water, Anyway, did that help? Okay. Andrew?
Hey, thanks again. Andrew Morrison.
How are you?
I'm good. You talked about explosive growth between last year and this year. Could you talk a little bit about what you attribute that to in terms of what you're doing and how you've dealt with that transition from...
9 years of grinding.
9 years of grinding, yes.
Compound effect. This is an example when you just grind, and you're making incremental gains, and then one day you hit all that 9-10 years of grinding, boom, it explodes.
I've been growing same, probably 50 to 80% every year for 9 years. I could tell you the biggest change was that I finally see this as a business. Everything that I invest in, I look at it as a business. I'll give you a great example, Zillow leads, right? So you could spend $30,000 a month on Zillow leads, 10,000, 7,000. And most agents go, gosh, I only closed 2 deals from Zillow. It sucks. But in reality, how much do those 2 deals earn you? Wow, they earned me $130,000. Well, if you spend $7,000 a month and you've closed and you made $130,000, technically you profited net profit is 60,000. So I started looking at my business that way. I turned my farm into a business. How much money am I putting into my farm every month? I separated my business in 2 separate divisions where I have an assistant and a marketing person for the redevelopment and new construction. I have an assistant and a marketing person for real estate division. I've created value for my clients that they're getting support 7 days a week. So to me, I've put money into my business to create, so I could focus really on being available, one, and also focus on myself to generate more business and be able to pick up the phone and not go through an inspection report piece by piece by piece where I now have somebody else do it. And they're a lot better than I am because I'm terrible at paperwork.
See, Denis was the guy, prototypical top producer, doing everything. Even though he had a staff and a team, no one could do it as good as him. And he didn't want anyone, he didn't want to let go. Except the business got too big where he's being forced to now run it like a business. So he can't be the artist anymore. There's too much.
And it's still like this now. I mean, I don't know how many lessons coming up in the next 2 weeks, and I'm freaking out because I've never had that before.
So
It's
delegating, I'm assuming based on what you both are sharing, has become a huge part of that transition to...
Proper delegating, yes. Proper delegating from the beginning. Most of us upsell our service and then try to handle it ourselves. I try to be clear. I will not handle the showing. And I'll include myself in that. And I'll say myself, Corey, Kevin, whoever else is on my team will handle the showings with you. So I don't feel guilty when the showing, because that's the part that's hard, is facing your client and facing what your client will think of. Because technically when we're selling, we're usually overselling, most of us.
So are you getting to the point, one of the themes that I've heard from some of your clients is that once you get to a certain level of production, you're actually recouping some of that 24 hours in the day that you've had where you were wearing all hats?
The people like Denis, all the top team, their next step is to get themselves out of daily production and to replace themselves. And this is like a big, they've been jumping off cliffs all along. This is the mother of all cliffs to jump off, where you actually stop being involved, where the business is not dependent upon you day to day. And they're having to systematize, they're having to train people, they're having to figure out their numbers, how we pay people, because you can sell a lot of property and generate a lot of income and not make any money. When you start building the team as an agent, as a top producing agent, you're on let's say 80-85% split, and your expenses maybe 25%, pretty big margin. When you're running a team, you're moving closer to a brokerage, and brokerages are at a 15% margin. So the margins changed dramatically. And so that's what he's talking about in terms of really running it like a business, analyzing it. What are my margins everywhere?
And by also separating the business in half, I think separately. When I focus on my resale division and the farming division, farming of the resale and how do we get more clients for that side, my brain only goes to that. So my brain right away goes, how do I get a regular listing? How do I get a regular seller? How do I get a regular buyer for my team? So it became, after obviously the one book and everything else, it became much easier to think, where before it was, well, how do I get business? And I should do this, I should do that, and it was very confusing. So now when I go to a new construction division, how do I find more business and more value for my client? What should we do? Should we send more offers out? Should we send more letters out? Should we hit more doors? Should we hit more investment properties? It became a lot easier to think about your business when your business is separated in portions where your income is coming from. So I think to your question, that's been the biggest change in my career, and hopefully will continue, that I've separated big portions of my business. And I did that for my clients because I have a person who really handles one area, and that person is not handling 30 transactions. She handles 10. So she's a lot brighter, she's a lot clearer, she's aware of what's going on than having one main person handle everything and then assistants below her. And that's the conversation that I have with her. What else can we do to grow this. In her mind, that's all she's thinking about. She's not thinking about door knocking. She's not thinking about sending out letters to investment properties. She's thinking really how to grow this side of the business. So that was huge.
And I want to bring this up. We're talking about mindset. What he just said, that's his mindset. How do I grow? How do I grow? How do I grow? That's what he's always thinking about. How do I grow? How do I grow? He's constantly seeking, learning, looking, observing. How do I grow this thing? That's a mindset. Mindset. Work hard. Mindset. How do I grow it? Okay? Any other questions for Dennis? Oh, good.
Was the
There you
resale,
go.
sorry, was the resale growth commensurate with the new construction? These are both growing at the same rate, or do you find?
It's really amazing now. Now we had a meeting. I had a meeting with both teams separately, and I've made it very clear because it became a little bit of a competition in the office. I made it very clear that one side feeds the other, and the other side feeds this one. Without this side doesn't grow well, because a lot of times when we meet a potential client who wants to sell his home to an investor, we really want to get the most value for our clients, especially in our neighborhoods. We will tell them, no, this is not a tear down, but this is an owner user. So right away, that side goes to the different division, or vice versa. So it's right now, it's growing well together. I'll say we're 50-50 what we're doing.
Okay. Your name?
Hi, I'm Rob Porter with Keller Williams Burbank.
Hey, how are you?
Thank you for coming today and
Thank you for having me.
sharing. As you made each little change in your business over the last 10 or so years, can you share with us any tricks you used to overcome your own fears of making those changes?
I hit myself. That's really the best thing. I really realize that look, I'm not a really outgoing person. I'm not a loud person. My wife thinks I'm a loud person, but I'm not a loud person. I'm not the person who goes into a big party and knows everybody. I'm the guy who usually stands on the side and meets whatever people I want to meet. So for me, this business is hard because it's all about being in front of everybody. So I constantly push myself because I know that's important, but I'm also, where's Ari? Ari was here somewhere from the agency. He left. So in Tony Robbins, the biggest thing that I've learned, besides obviously the mindset and everything else, is creating your value. I ask myself, why, if you go to the listing presentation, before you go in, why would I get this listing? Why would the seller give me this listing? What do I do different from Denis, for example? If we go against, why would they list with Denis when they could list with me? And if you can't answer that properly, and you don't believe in yourself, you will be afraid because you will feel that there's no value to you. I go in and I know what my value is, and I tell my client, and I'm confident in my value. So when you're confident in your value, and you know that it's not a sales pitch, but it's the truth of what you will follow on and do, the fear of going into a listing presentation, or the fear of hitting a door, or why you're hitting the door, becomes much easier to handle. Sorry.
I would answer your question. He doesn't give up. He just keeps going. And he'll bang his head against the wall 50 times if he has to in order to get through it. He doesn't give in. He doesn't give up. And he's constantly looking for, a way to grow. Mindset, value, another very important thing. What is my value?
I would say the most important thing.
Right. And what he just shared is so important. If you don't know why they're going to list with you, they're not listing with you. You got to walk in that door knowing you are the best person for the job, bar none. And until you develop that confidence, you're going to, you're at risk. Okay, question?
I just would like
With a good English accent.
I
Stand up.
just would like to add something that you said now. As a human being, each one has something special. So every morning, it's so important when we wake up and ask ourselves, what I have special that somebody doesn't have, but they have another thing. So I was talking with my husband this week about this because he's shy, he's like you. and I was telling him, so in your meditation, trying to ask the universe to bring your special thing outside. So in my meditation, I always do this, to have all my potential out of me, to help people to be able to understand things and improve my English.
Good.
So don't forget that each one has something special inside of you, and put this out and believe that you can do anything. Thank you.
Great thought.
By the way,
Thank you.
if you know who is in Woodland Hills, that agent that door knocks every day, that's all.
Sean.
Huh?
Sean McGlynn.
Sean had a flyer a couple of years ago where there was 100 or 40 things to do.
Right.
I read that every morning. It's pasted in my notebook, on my clipboard items that I check, and that message, know what you want, know who your client is, know what you need to do, door knock or whatever your marketing skills are, know plain English, simple language, whatever it is, put the things out there that will motivate you to do a certain item, and also learn from what you're not good at and try to improve it.
Dennis, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, sir.